You are a slave to others' perception of you because you seek approval from them. And this is an evolutionary trait, it's a survival trait, so I don't blame you for it. Everybody has it inherently. It's because to our primal brain, not being part of the bunch or not being accepted by others is like death. Because back then, primal times, if you didn't stick with your pack, if your pack abandoned you, then you were left for dead. You were gone. And so this is carried on throughout society to where if you don't stick to certain norms, or if you're excluded, or if people don't like you or don't approve of you, you're dead. But are you? No, you're not dead. And so this is something that I had to realize for myself, and the person who I seek the most approval from was my father. Everything that he said, I wanted to do just for him to be proud of me. And it's a quite normal thing because that's quite literally the person who raised me. And it's very hard to let go of that approval from the person who you looked up to so much. So when I finally let go of his approval and did what I wanted to do, which was, in this case, not go to college, I felt something come off my shoulders. I was free. And you probably feel like that. You probably feel like you have certain opinions, you have certain thoughts, you have certain views, certain actions that you want to do, that you want to achieve. But because of other people's thoughts of you, because of other people's reactions to what you might do, you contain yourself. And it's almost like this invisible chain on your neck. You're like a slave, quite literally, to the perception of others. And this essentially means that you hold no power over yourself, which is the saddest thing in the world because you were made to be an individual, not a collective. And so if you're an individual, you can take individual actions and have individual power to do whatever the fuck you want. So why let somebody else decide that for you? And this is a form of self-sabotage, by the way, because you have perceptions about other people. I mean, you're always going to have opinions, and that's not wrong at all. And other people's opinions over you aren't wrong. Don't try and demonize them or act like they're the problem. You're the problem. Because other people are always going to have something to say about what you should do, about who you should be, about how you should act. But it's up to you to decide what you want to do. Think about it. You might disagree with me right now, or you might disagree with somebody else, and that's completely fine. But what's not fine is me tying all my ego to your perception of me, which stops me from being who I truly am. And this is why ego can be so dangerous, because once again, it is a mechanism that is made to tell you the same story over and over to survive. So in this case, for example, it's made to tell you, if that person doesn't like you, that's death. That means that you're over, you're done with, you're cooked. But that's not the truth. It's a paradigm you've made in your mind. It's like monsters under your bed when you're young. You think they're there when the lights are off, but when you turn them on and you look around, you realize nobody was there to begin with. Nobody was biting at your ankles. You were self-sabotaging. And when you realize that everybody lives in their own world and nobody has time to really care about what you're gonna do, this is a whole new level. Because you went from thinking that everybody was looking at you, everybody in the world had their binoculars on you and were judging your every move, to realizing that it doesn't really matter. So it comes down to understanding what you truly desire out of life. Because time is ticking, you're eventually gonna die, we all are. That's the one thing that unites all humans, that's the one thing that creates time, and what time creates is urgency. So the reason why you don't have this is because you haven't realized that yet. If you knew that time is caused by death, and death is coming like it or not, then you'd realize that there's no point in trying to be a slave to others' perception of you. Because in a few years, none of you will be here. I won't be here. So what do you want to achieve while you are here? Do you want to be everybody's little dog who they pat on the head and they're like, good boy, you did what I wanted you to? Or do you want to break those chains and be able to do whatever you want? And by the way, side note, you might be saying, oh no, do whatever you want. That sounds like anarchy. Well, once again, you're projecting your beliefs that, for example, if you did what you wanted, something bad would happen. Why? Why do you want something that's overall bad for the world? Because that might be a problem that's on you. Not every person wants something that's bad for the world inherently. So the final point is, do not be a slave to others' perception of you. Make your own perception so great that they have no other choice but to respect it.